Tonight we are finally installing new parts on the Kooky S14 project. If you're new to this channel, hit the subscribe button because you're gonna wanna stay tuned. Bryce, what up?
What up?
Bryce is helping me get this rear subframe installed tonight with an overhaul and some new goodies. But the reason you wanna stay tuned is because after we are done with this project, it's gonna be so rad. And we're giving it away to one of you. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned so that you know how to enter when we announce the details. So the first part that we're installing in the rear subframe is new bushings. When I picked up the Kooky, it had all sorts of issues. When you would turn in one direction, there was just something so clunky back here in this general area. I didn't know what it was, and this is the depth that we're going in on this project. You can always diagnose things with sound if you know what to listen for and look for. So when I pulled the subframe out, literally this is what I found. In the rear, we had these two bushings, which are factory, and they were okay. They were blown from too much movement and age, but we got those out. The real issue was that someone had these in the front two holes of the subframe. Those don't even fit. These aren't the right bushing. I don't even know what car these are for, but basically everything was loose back there. So we got new white line ones, a full kit from ENJUKU Racing. Thank you for having what we needed. There is a link below in the description where you can click through and pick up ENJUKU parts. If you buy through that link, it helps us out a little. Thanks to the support, guys. There's a million other videos on YouTube you can watch and threads you can read about installing new bushings in the S chassis subframes. But just quickly, if you're watching this for informational reasons, rather than just seeing what we do to this build, and you're looking at changing your bushings, there is a collar like this, a metal sleeve around the bushing, and this will be in here, and it's pressed in here. Certain bushing kits require you to remove all of the rubber and leave this sleeve in there. Other kits require that you remove this sleeve and you just leave the subframe, and that's the type of kit that we got from Whiteline. The second issue I found that we're fixing tonight before we reinstall the whole rear end assembly was literally this axle had two bolts holding it in and they were finger tight. They're supposed to be 6. They weren't even like across from each other. I honestly have no idea how those didn't break when I was burning out in the last video or drove it for like an hour to get home. But we're going to replace those with some OEM hardware that we got from Z1 Motorsports. Holla, thanks for having the OEM goods. They're a special bolt with a shank on them that are the right size so there's no play. Stoked to get those in there. The next part is some new fresh hardware to hold our subframe to the car because someone managed to cross thread this stud. So I've rethreaded this and cleaned it up, and we're gonna use new hardware. I get it, bushings are not the most exciting modification. But I'm stoked to do this video, and I'm hyped if you guys are following. The reason we're showing you bushings and like replacing hardware and boring stuff like that, since we're giving this car away, we wanted you to see the depth that we're going into when we're going through every system of this car, so that the winner knows what they're going to be getting and that it's going to be a solid, ready to rip car. Will they fit without a hammer? Nope.
Nope. Lube guy.
It's a little bit of a tight fit. Say the least.
Just lube it up, it'll work. The doctor's in.
It's a bad time to call me, whoever's calling me.
It's doing nothing.
Just gonna get a bigger hammer.
There it is.
That's about all this thing's good for anymore.
It's still too small. Turbo's too small.
Too small of a turbo. Try this instead.
That's not a hammer, Jordan.
I know. Where we're going, we don't need hammers.
1 like equals 1 prayer. Pray for Jordan.
Dude.
That's the look of a sad pup. Oh.
No, dude, that's gonna be a dick. I'm gonna make a quick trip to AutoZone so Bryce can get his beef jerky.
I just needed beef jerky.
Super important. Just kidding. Got the tool we need and the beef jerky. This is bad. We gotta push from the outside. What's up? Guys, I gotta admit, it is the second day installing these bushings. As you can see, I have tried every tool, heat, clamps. I don't have a hydraulic press. So, I finally got these 2 front bushings in. And the way I did it is I used these 2 pieces from a ball joint press kit that fit perfectly on the outer edge of the bushings, as you can see there. So that it's pressing directly down all around at an equal force into the subframe. And a bigger hammer. So whoever wins this car, you can thank me now for not just slapping a body kit on it and making it look sick, but doing it right and making this thing run. Yes! Check it out. Got all of the subframe bushings into place. So this thing isn't flying around in the back anymore. It's sturdy, hooks up, and feels good. Not even kidding, this has been one of the hardest parts I've ever installed. Mostly because I don't have a hydraulic press to get them in. So I highly recommend that if you are gonna try these white line bushings in your subframe with the metal collar, you have a hydraulic press or you don't try to do it. It's way too much work. I tried everything. Heated up the subframe, I freezed the bushings overnight, and ended up just having just the right collar to press it in and a big enough hammer. But seriously, my arm is so sore from it, but I'm hyped they're in. Next issue is these bolts here. I ordered the wrong ones somehow. So the ones I got from Z1 Motorsports are too big, and I have some new ones on the way from Nissan, and we're just gonna tighten up the ones I have and then add the new ones later since they're easy to get to when they arrive in a couple days, and get this thing in place. Now I'm gonna try and install this subframe by myself, which can be dangerous. You gotta make sure it doesn't fall on you. So the first step is I've gotten everything out of the way. Got the brake lines, or the brakes, zip tied up here, and this line will connect to the differential vent, and then we'll weave these through the subframe to hook up our e-brakes in a bit. And then when we're done, we're gonna throw some new brake pads in these rear calipers. Before we get too far along, I almost forgot. If you can see in there, we've got all new ball joints on all 4 corners because they were blown out. I'm not cutting any corners here. This thing is gonna ride nice.